Hey guys, Big J here. In today's episode, we're talking round one, how my team went, and boy oh boy, it was a bit of a doozy. Round one's always really interesting. I find that it can, you know, make or break your season, as JP would say. There's mistakes you can make, but there's also some advantages you can really jump on. The fact that we have a bit of a rolling lockout really gives us that capacity to actually change our sides without the negative effects. They can be for the better or they can be for the worse. I got a bit excited on Saturday. I brought in Sheasel. I'll show you the team in a little bit. And then I made a few extra trades and extra changes that, I'm not super happy with. I think my starting team may have scored a little bit more this week, but was the wrong thing to come into the season with. Looking at the scores for round one, mid-price of madness might not have been the right option there. I think maybe it was just me picking the wrong mid-prices. The guys I had chosen didn't score as well. Some of the other guys like Setterfield, even Warple went bang. And the ones I had picked, weren't that great. In saying that, I'm still pretty happy with the score. Did a lot better than a few of the other content creators, which is great. We've all got that kind of rivalry happening. And yeah, it's just kind of something to work your way back from. It is only round one. The difference between myself and the top team this year is currently like 300 points. So it's really not, it's not that hard to fight back. But you really just have to make some changes in your side now because the first 2 weeks of the season are probably the most crucial. Setting yourself up for success is really important. And that's what I'm going to end up doing today. You might not agree with everything, but, it's my team. You can do whatever you like with yours. This week we scored 1944. Now, it wasn't great, but as I said at the start, it's a little bit better than some others have done. My vice captain and captain really didn't work out this week. I think I had picked Doherty as vice captain. I thought, 108, come in there, I'll pick something better. I picked Bont and he scored 107. So it was a bit of a stinker. Let's look at how the team's gone. So in the back line, Doherty, Dawson and Ridley kind of did what I expected them to do. These are your guys who are your premiums. They should be scoring 100 plus every week. Stacking that back line really did help, but missing out on someone like McKenna can hurt. These are rookies, so if you had missed out on a Jimby, if you had missed out on a McKenna like I did, a few others in the midfield as well. Guns and rookies has its place in Supercoach. If it works out and the rookies score a lot of points, then you're happy. If not, you're in a bit of trouble. The problem started this week with Liam Jones. I think a lot of people had the same issues as what I had. What can you do? You can't really, save a fire on the field. Injuries happen in Supercoach, and, we just have to deal with it. I think he's potentially named this week. He's not in my trade targets yet, but he should be next week. I just can't facilitate it at the moment. Jimby, bloody fantastic. He's almost the best kid at West Coast already, which is saying something. Chesser, as you'll see in the midfield there, just hasn't stepped up as much, but pretty happy with Jimby. The DPP is fantastic, and it's really going to help me later on. I'm looking to stack the back line first. I think that area provides the most value, as I've said earlier on during the season. There's a lot of 500k guys that, as you saw from round one scores, did really, really well. Jimby did well, a few of these other guys as well, so pretty happy. Constable 56, got a lot of kicks, but just shanked it, I think. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Wilmot and Cowan are fine. Cowan got subbed out like second or third quarter. So I think it's just hamstring tightness. Should be available for round one. Looked really good. Has the Sinclair haircut going on. Big long mullet, shaved on the sides. Looks fantastic. Back to the midfield. So Rory Laird hurt a lot of people, including myself. At least I didn't captain him. I figured, they put a bit of attention on him. Which didn't really happen as much. He kind of just played himself out of the game. He's someone that I think might be able to pick up a bit earlier, a bit cheaper early on into the season. maybe a bit of a hint into what I'm doing this week. Bont 107, it is what it is. It's not great. As I said at the start, Sam Doherty would have been a better option, but you'd think Bont would be able to score higher. Tom Green, fantastic, 134. Hopper. Come on, Hopper. What are you doing, mate? It's not great. Watching that Richmond game, as George has said on his channel, Hopper just looked a bit cooked. Looked like he hadn't really got over those injuries as much as what you'd hoped. But similar to a Cunnington and a few of these other type players, these really highly congested players, the ones that like to be in that ball, when they play in a team that can't, that's not their focus. When they play in a team that want to move the ball really quick, they just get left behind. It's like, hey guys, I want to stand still and do stuff. No, we want to go and kick the ball really hard, kick the ball really fast, go bang, bang, bang. Even similar to a Laird, he's not getting those contested possessions tackles. Yes, someone else may have grabbed the ball and gone, but it's not sticking around the middle, sticking in one spot. Going back to Laird for a sec, it really looks like they were just grabbing the ball from the middle, banging it forward. Rochelle, Rankin in there, did their job. Adelaide should have won that game pretty easily. Obviously, they didn't, but it's a similar issue with Hopper. He's too slow for the modern game, it feels like. Not saying Laird is, but Hopper at the moment is not happy. Nazaya did all right. Was expecting a much better score, I think, as everyone else was, but he, how's this to say? Scored 50% disposal efficiency, which I think is his saving grace for me this week. I really want him to do well. He has that kick-out role, has that halfback running role, which is fantastic for us. But we just need him to come out. If he'd come out from the gates, scored at 85, kind of had that efficiency up a little bit higher, would have been much, much better. Apparently from his kick-outs as well, he wasn't running out of the centre square. He was kicking it from the centre square, so it doesn't actually count on the stat sheet from what I've been told. So if he changes that up that tiny little bit, that could be 20, 30 points extra. He had something like 6 kick-outs. So if that little tiny thing changes, I think he'll do all right for us. Callahan, 101. Didn't start off the game very good, but really came into his own there. Did really well. And yeah, 101's not bad. You should have seen some of the transitions and things like that he was doing. If you don't have him in, you really need to have him. The price point gives you a lot of flexibility, which is what we're after. Ashcroft, 55. Brisbane played a really tough game. Port came out and went bang. I didn't think they would. I thought they would lose this game, but, it is what it is. I think I messed up the tipping for that week, but got to give Ashcroft another week. Looks fantastic pre-season, dominating pre-season, and it's hard to kind of ignore those statistics. One bad game for him as a rookie isn't the horrible thing. We talk about Ashcroft's one bad game. Well, Kev McKenzie, far out. What a game. This guy's almost the best kid at Hawthorn already. He's off to a flyer, so he's pretty good. I'm happy with the pick there. I know Joe missed out on him. He's going to bring him in. I think a few other people did. We were scared off a little bit by the Josh Ward situation from last year. Someone around that price that just didn't do very well. So, Baker, average. Chesser, pretty crap. North Melbourne just did well, and Chesser just looked absent, which isn't a good thing. He's definitely on my trade table because I think at the moment, if we pull over his stats, he's not even making his break even. So you really don't want a dead rookie. Yes, the DPP is good, but that 20 is really going to hurt you later on. In the ruck line, so as I said at the start, Saturday came along, did the Harry Sheasel swap. I think I swapped out 5 for him, banked some money. It's like, yeah, fantastic, let's go, whatever. And then I got a bit carried away and started changing things out. Wits down to Marshall, banked me 100K, which is great, but really meant that, I ended up with a stinker. Wits went 140, Marshall went 80. I think I would have just almost cracked the 2K, which would have been, shot me up the rankings a bit more. But, that's Supercoach, right? You make these decisions, you just got to live with it. You take the chances where you can. I'm just glad he's really highly owned because I didn't get hurt as much as everyone else. And that was kind of put in my talking there. Darcy 96. It just sucks as well when both your ruckmen end up playing each other round one. Wits and English, I think, would have been the play. Take the risk, take the safety there. Obviously, that's coming into it knowing that both of them scored like 130 plus. But Darcy and Marshall, not great, but acceptable for right now. Madden, fantastic loophole as always, and pretty happy. The forward line, really. Let's go. Dunkley, 108. Pretty serviceable. That's what you want from him. Rosie, similar, 97. I think Horne-Francis took a little bit more. There's some concerns with Rosie and Butters at the moment. Boak's going to be playing a lot of forward when he comes back, which is great for those two. But it feels like Horne-Francis can only play mid at the moment. Got a lot of CBAs, got a lot of scores that Rosie and Butters probably would have got if he wasn't in the team. And it's a little bit concerning because it seems like Hinkley loves those two at half forward with a tiny bit of mid rotation as opposed to majority mid and then half forward, which means Horne-Francis will do well because he'll get CBAs, but Rosie and Butters might be capped at that kind of 100. So instead of the 110s that we're looking for, we'll just wait and see. It is only round one. When you have a person who dominates as hard as he does, the rest kind of fall off. So see what happens. Taranto 103, pretty happy with that. That's what you kind of expect from him. 500k, 103. We'll pop him up to a cheeky 550k, which is it's acceptable. Now we come into two players who I'm not happy with in my side. So Tanner Bruin did all right at the start and then just went missing. I commented on this in the Geelong preseason game that he did really well. He scored a 110. Yeah, fantastic. But for the third and fourth quarter, just didn't touch the ball at all. Got relegated to like a wing or a forward position. And being so young, being in a team where he's not well known yet with what he can do with his skills, it really means that people will overlook him when it comes to passing the ball, coming to like a shot target down the field. And that's just what's happened in this game. So did quite well in the first two, got maneuvered around when Parfitt came into the midfield and just disappeared. So 58 is not great. The job role doesn't look like it's there for him at the moment, and I'd rather not have 300k in the forward line just sitting there waiting to do what it's doing. I made the mistake at the start of the season not picking up a few of these 500k players who are highly well owned, like a Goulden, like a Cornelio, who both went massive this week and look to be doing quite well for the rest of the season versus going a little bit too mid-price heavy, I think. Feels like Guns and Rookies may have been the best option, or one or two mid-prices instead of like six like I'm running at the moment. So changes need to be made and they will be made this week. If you don't like it, look at your own teams, guys. Flanders, similar, survives another week just for the price. Looked all right, kicked a couple of goals. I think they're still just trying to figure him out and see what happens. But he's on the chopping block for me as well. Just depends on what happens the following week if we keep him around for a while. The problem is it's 250k on field and he rises 50k. If he comes out and scores another 60 to 70, I'll be pretty happy this week. Maybe he survives the chopping block, but I got to find money somewhere to get these other players in. I'm missing out on McKenna, missing out on a few of these rookies. So, if I can downgrade him to like a Chandler, for example, that's what 130k in the bank. That's another upgrade. So, Nazire or someone up to a premium in a couple of weeks, which is what we want. You really want to be ahead of the rookie curve and be ahead of the premium upgrade curve if you can. Right now, I've got 11. At the end of this episode, I'll have 13. So, if your team's got 13 premiums, fantastic. Mine will. Next week, looking to bring in the 14th and then start the upgrade season kind of on a high there, even though I've spent a few trades along the way. Did really well bringing Sheasel. All credit to JD from George, from Fantasy Take TV and George's Discord. Had a few track watchers watching the game. There'd always been talk about Sheasel doing really well off halfback, trained during the week as a halfback, and came into the preseason game playing majority forward. I think he played halfback for a tiny bit. Kaiko was like, hey, this kid can do a lot. Our halfback at North hasn't been that great of a position for us. Aaron Hall had kind of cemented that for a while, but it really looked like we needed a change there. Sheasel comes in, just think like 20 minutes before the bounce, started lining up with the back line. It was like, holy moly, we've got to go and bring this guy in. And then it's like, holy moly, we've really got to bring this guy in. So made the trade from Fife to Sheasel, which was, a net profit of something like 90 points on field. So did really well. Looks to maybe not be a keeper, but looks to be a set position we don't need to touch for a while and should 100% get DPP. This kid's so clean, and it could almost be Dacos-like how well he played. 34 touches, should get the rising star this week. Green and Caminolidi. So Green did all right. I think he kicked a goal or two. Slow burn there, but I think that's fine in the forward line. Would have loved to have a Comben or a Chandler, who originally I did have instead of Caminiti. Sorry, Anthony. I spoke to a field about this anyway. Just made the swap for the extra 20K, and now Chandler looks to be a bit of a premium that you have to bring in. Well, a play you've got to bring in just for the cash gen. As I said at the start, these first 2 weeks are very, very much about setting your team up for success, because there's no price rise changes. All we're doing is burning trades. Yes, at the later part of the season, we're not going to have as many, but it means a lot. In my case, for example, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades later on that I don't have to spend trying to bring a premium in by making those swaps now. So the changes I'm looking to make this week, we'll do our captain's video closer to Thursday, but the changes I'm looking to make this week, as I said at the start, are ones that are really going to try and set me up for success. Bring in these plays that I should have started with, but also kind of give me the capacity to do a few cheeky things. You're not going to like it. I don't like it as much. Maybe I'll change it back, but right now, Laird's going, and Hopper's going, and Tanner Bruin's going. That's a lot of money. As I said, 3 premiums are coming in, spending 1, but then also getting rid of 2 mid-prices as well. So potentially that's like 4 trades saved by getting rid of these 2 now, instead of having to do a rookie down and then one of those guys up. Who are we bringing in? So Emilio's coming in there. And then we have Goulden's coming in. What happened there? Oh, I know what happened. Camilleo's coming in. Goulden's coming in. I might go and move Goulden to the forward line. And then we are going Constable there. And we're going to bring in Mr. Dacos. Now, people are saying, oh, Big J, Dacos is going to get tagged. Maybe. But the thing with Dacos is he is so versatile that he can play a majority of positions. If he gets tagged in the back line, he moves to the mids. If he gets tagged in the mids, he goes to the forwards, and vice versa. This is someone that they actively look to give the ball to, which means that it just looks really well for us. And he shouldn't be dropping like a 40 this week. Maybe it's a trap, but you guys can see in the next week's episode what kind of happens there. Yeah, that's the team for right now. Looking to next week, maybe swap out a Jones for a McKenna and then shore up a couple of rookies. It will have myself having a lot of money. Maybe I go McKenna, pick up like a Chandler somewhere, and then upgrade to another premium. I think I've done the calculations and I should have something like 560K there. So if someone pops up, maybe a backline player. As I said, the DPP from Jimby is really good. So I should be able to do a swing almost anywhere to bring him in. It may mean playing another rookie on field, but then the backline's basically done, right? 5 premiums in the backline in round 3 is bloody fantastic, especially when these guys are scoring 50s. People are going to have someone on field. Even like if they've got a Constable on field, my premium is going to be hopefully doing a lot better than theirs. And then we start upgrading because I've got all this money. Money. All right, guys. Well, that's how my team went this week. Let me know in the comments how yours went. Remember, we've got our Supercoach group as well, where you guys can win some amazing prizes. Joe and I will be going through the group this week in our 7:30 live stream. So stay tuned for that. You can join up, follow us on Twitter, like us on well, you can like us on Facebook if you want as well. So Twitter, subscribe, join the group. You guys can win some amazing prizes. Hopefully you did a lot better than me. If not, it's going to be a long season, but it's only round one. You can come back. Maybe if you can't win, try and get the best position you can this year. That's something that I've kind of aspired to do. Last year I finished 545 or 549. So this year's goal, obviously win, but also do a lot better than that. I back my trading versus my starting team. So as you've seen at the moment, I've gone from 11 premiums to 13 in 1 week. Next week's going to be 14 premiums. So, it is what it is. All right, guys. Remember, at the centre bounce, we do the hard work, so you don't have to.